Men know very well what they're blamed for, but not what they're here for. No male role models, no initiation into manhood, and no respect for being a man. We have raised a generation of young men who have no clue how to be a man in our society, or what for to be a man in our society. But most young men, and many men today, know very well that they are still being blamed for the oppression of women generations ago. We need to understand that these men are not the men that caused the oppression of women. And we should not treat a new generation of men as if they are responsible for the control and subjugation of women. The younger generation of women in the modern West have the same opportunities, if not more, than their male counterparts. And even though it was much needed to give women a chance to compete in career in the workspace and to work their way into these fields. So yes, in the beginning, women needed support and it needed to be addressed publicly that we needed more women in leadership positions or more women in certain types of education. Even though we have gone miles with the liberation of women and women can now take part in the work field and in career as men and they have about the same opportunities. We are still discriminating against young men on many fronts, especially in work, education, and opportunities in life. And why? Just because they happen to be born of the XY gender. Because of this, men are becoming more and more isolated, especially younger men, but also men in general. Young men have no role models. They have no masculine role models in their life that show them this is what you need to do to be a man, to be a mature, masculine leader. And many men, many adult men, have no idea how to fit in modern day society in our culture. A lot of men feel unaccepted for who they truly are, unaccepted for being a man. And this is pushing many men into isolation, into loneliness, into disconnection from society and from relationships because they no longer feel accepted and appreciated for who they are. And this will eventually cause mental health decline in men. And what we don't seem to understand is that if we will eventually only have healthy, thriving women in our economy, this cannot uphold. This cannot last. We need men to participate in our society and in our community and in our economy. Women these days can do a lot of things, and I'm really happy about that because it gives me a lot of freedom to do the things that I want in life as well. However, if men are not participating in the economy anymore, in the workforce, in career, in education, that means that everything will rest on their female counterparts. Again, don't get me wrong, I think women are very strong and capable, but not if the load is all resting on women and we have no men participating anymore. And we shouldn't forget that most women will be unemployed for a certain period of their life, especially when they will be having children and caring after children. Now, with more and more men and young men pulling back from contributing to the economy or to society, a lot will fall on women. And again, it is not that women cannot work hard or drive the economy forward, not at all. But it is not healthy for women to have to work continuously, to have to work long hours, to have to fully look after a family. If women are in their stress for long periods of time, so high cortisol, it is actually been shown recently that this has a lot of negative effects on women, especially on their reproductive health, but also on cancer risks. And we're already seeing a lot more women getting burnouts or becoming depressed because the workload that they experience is just too high. And this will only go up as more and more men will disengage from economy or from the workforce. And this might not be a popular opinion amongst feminists, but we need men. We need men to take part in society. We need men to contribute. Men are fantastic at creating structure, at driving things forward, at stabilizing the economy. And we seem to forget that this is natural for men to do, and we are denying men of that trait. of those values that they can offer us as a society. We shouldn't forget that men are a very stable workforce and women sadly are not, because we are just biologically less stable. We go through different phases, hormonal phases, that make us much more at risk of burning out and falling out of the workforce. And if we only have women in the economy, in the workforce, that means that it is a very unstable situation. Now, as I mentioned in my previous videos, part 1 and 2, if we are denying men from contributing as men, from their masculine energy, they will pull back, they will isolate themselves, and they will disconnect from us women, but also from society and the workforce at large. We need to understand that men are purpose-driven. Men need purpose in their life. Men need to feel like they're contributing to something, whether it is to the life of a woman or family life or a career or a business or society at large. Men need purpose. If men don't have purpose, they isolate themselves and they end up in this purpose vacuum of being lost and not having any idea or reasoning why they should be alive. And this is why male suicides have gone up so much. And it is not that women should not have a shot at career, not at all, but because a lot of women are moving into the workforce, kind of taking up place from men. Men feel that they're being replaced. They feel like they have no purpose in career, in business, in the workforce, and this is why they feel hopeless and lost. Now, I don't mean to say that women should step back into the kitchen, not at all. And we need to understand that there's power in feminine leadership and in masculine leadership, but both can be leaders, but they need to work together. Now, the purpose of men once was very clear. It was to lead, to protect, and to provide. However, now those lines have been blurred because women can also lead, women can also protect, and women can also provide for themselves or even for their own families. Now, even if a man in our current day society would want to operate from these values or these aspects that a man has to lead, to provide, to protect, it would be seen as toxic. But the thing that we don't realize is that it would be the same thing as telling a woman who's trying to be nurturing to a man, who's trying to be caring towards a man, who is giving her energy to a man. That would be the same if you tell this woman that this type of behavior is toxic and controlling. So the thing that is important is that we learn to understand that what is happening here is that it's a misunderstanding of intentions, because the intentions of a man to protect and provide are good. It is not out of malice or to control a woman. The fact that we don't appreciate this from men in our society is a misunderstanding of the masculine and feminine energy and the importance of the polarity between the two. This is a disruption that modern day feminism has caused because it has taught women to be in their masculine energy and to negate the masculine energy of men. We see it everywhere. Women are taking on more masculine roles in career, but also in relationships when they are providing, when they are chasing the man. And what happens is that this is causing a disbalance in the natural polarity between men and women. You always need the balance of masculine and feminine. And if the woman is in her masculine, whether in work or in relationship, the man has to become feminine or disengage. Now, because men are losing their roles in society, in relationship, but also in the workforce, men are disconnecting and men lose their purpose. And a man who is losing his purpose is drifting. And this is what we see among so many young men. They have not been taught how to be in their masculine energy because from a young age, because of modern day feminism, they were told to be more feminine, softer, gentler, and put their masculine energy and their drive and their greatness to the side. Our society doesn't seem to value masculine energy and masculine leadership. And because of that, the role of a masculine role model for young men has been deemed unimportant and unnecessary. In many cultures, even our own in the West, young men would go through a rite of passage before they would be able to call themselves a man. And this still happens in many tribes. becoming a man had value. It was a clear point in a young man's life. And it signaled to yourself, but also to others in your community, that you are now mature and a capable leader. And back in the day, we would trust men to be capable to lead, to form the framework to our society, to our relationships. But now, without true masculine guidance, young men are struggling to find a way to become a man, to be a man. They have no male role models that teach them how to be a man in our current society. Now, because of this, many young men are flocking online. They go on Reddit, they go on YouTube, on TikTok, and this is where they kind of band together with other young men who feel lost in life, who feel purposeless, who don't really feel like they're a man or being accepted for the man that they can be. And this is when they look for toxic role models, such as an Andrew Tate or other people like that. And it's not like these men want that, but it's because, sadly, this is the only option out there for them. There's not many healthy role models out there, to be fair, online or in the vicinity of young men in this day and age. And it's much easier to find these role models online instead of real life. And Andrew Tate has become popular because this is what young men think is a man, which is not entirely true, because if we look at someone like Andrew Tate, he is operating from a fake masculinity. This is not real masculinity, and I've spoken about this in my videos before. True masculine energy is groundedness, is respect, is understanding and kindness. True masculine energy creates bonds, brings people together, not separates them, which is what you sadly see in figures like Andrew Tate. He is creating divide, while a truly masculine leader is looking to bond people together, because this is what you wanted back in the day when you had a tribe, right? You wanted to bring people together, not separate them. The most important thing for us to realize, and us women as well, is that young men and men in general need masculine guidance, whether from a role model, a teacher, or in healthy men's groups. In our society, we think that masculine energy is not needed and that we can just push it away because men have been at the top for too long and now it's time for feminine energy to rise to the top. But this is not a healthy way to look at it. We need masculine energy and feminine energy. So we don't need women who are in their masculine energy. No, we need women who are grounded in their feminine energy and their feminine power, as well as masculine men who are in their healthy, grounded masculine leadership. Because in the end, the masculine is the framework and the feminine is the creation, is the flow, is the play. Or to put it in another example, is that the masculine is the riverbank, which guides the water, that being the feminine. Now, what can we do as men, as women, as a society? One thing that we can do is build healthy brotherhoods for men. We need to encourage mentorship and guidance for young men. So if you are a man who wants to help young men find themselves in masculine leadership, please help them. Please offer support. Teach him how to be a man, how to live life. And we also need to redefine masculine energy. Masculinity is not dominance, it's not control, it's not creating hate, it's not force. Masculine energy is kindness, is calmness, is that framework where through the water, the feminine can flow. And the world does not need fewer men. What we need is men that are better supported to be in their masculine energy. And we need to celebrate masculine energy. We need to welcome it, just as we need to welcome feminine energy. So I want to invite my men to focus on becoming a healthy masculine leader who leads from kindness, from compassion, from groundedness. And if you're able to do that, try to teach this to younger men, because many young men are feeling lost. They don't have a father who can be a role model, or they're looking at people like Andrew Tate. But this is really not helping to reconnect men and women. And for my ladies, please understand that this is what men are struggling with. Men are feeling purposeless. Let a man be a man for you. Let him help you. Let him be that structure so you can be the water, the flow, the gentleness. I kid you not, once you learn to do that, it is so liberating as a woman, and you will feel so much more calm and peaceful and not stressful, which many women in this day and age are. So let go of the control and let a man take that from you. Let a man be that framework for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful and that it gave you a little bit more understanding of where men stand and where women stand at this current day and age regarding this topic. Now, if you liked the video, please give it a like. Leave me a comment and share with me what you thought about the topic. And please don't forget to subscribe because it really helps to reach a wider audience and to spread this message so that more people, more women, and more men understand how important masculine energy really is. If you like the videos that I'm making and you want to support my work, you can find a couple of ways to support me in the description box below. But you can also support me by signing up to my mailing list of the book that I'm writing. The book is called The Shadow Side of Feminism, wherein I explore this topic if feminism has cast a shadow side over modern men and what we can do to rectify that and find each other again in connection. So please sign up to the mailing list below and you will be kept up to date about the development of my book. This video was episode number 3 in a 3-part video series on how modern day men are struggling in our society. You can find the first video in the series right here, and you can find the links to all of the other episodes down in the description box. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon.